Interior design is a very relevant part of architecture and BIM projects. They greatly benefit from understanding this. How the walls, ceilings, textures, and lighting work together. It's all a tapestry. Hi guys, I'm Brandon with I Am the Studio. Today we'll be looking at making interior designs in Revit. In this tutorial, we'll be modeling and rendering a bedroom interior to match a beautiful aesthetic. This tutorial part 2 will cover developing the interior ceiling and lighting for perfect composition. This is a 3-part series, so check the description for the next part where we'll cover how to get this actually rendered. If you're new to this channel, consider subscribing for more tutorials and tips every week in the top architecture software.
On the ceiling, we immediately see for this space that it needs to have like some differentiation. You know, where the walking path is going through here and to there. The bed's going to be here, so we need to have some differentiation. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to select the the ceiling and create a soffit. So select that ceiling. All I need to do is to make sure that it's visible and I can adjust it. And if it's not, I'll have to just adjust it using my just being careful. Make sure that I'm going in my view range, that I'm seeing it. So right now the ceiling just went down. So I do have to make sure that I'm going to be able to check that. And here I am seeing this, but my soffit is probably going to go up closer to 10. So I'm going to edit the boundary. I'm going to actually sketch it first, and then I'm going to add my soffit in. So I'm going to start with make my detail line. I'm just going to use a little bit of a construction line, and essentially I will come in from this wall, same distance on all sides. It's probably going to be something close to this dimension from this outer wall to this inner wall, 2'5", so about 30 inches. So I'm going to offset 30 inches on all sides. Just make sure, press tabs, select all sides. And what I want to do also, just for sure, just align it to this wall edge. And so I think that might be the whole 3 inches. So we're going to add another 3 inches. So, and make sure that's 0. But the first thing we'll do is this fan, we're actually going to place it again. I double clicked it. So we'll just come back and add this ceiling fan in again. But we're going to go to the larger ceiling, which I just have as continuous, which is a bit of a feature. Take that out, and now I'm going to add another ceiling similar to this, only I will change it to have another material. Now we're going to edit or create similar. Now do the same thing, just make sure that's that thin profile. I'm going to sketch it. It's going to be going from here to here, and it's actually going to be close to that 9 foot 8 or 9 foot 10. So we'll have like some mounting location. And this ceiling is going to be a little bit different material. I'm going to come in here, I'm going to erase my construction line. And this actually is going to be more of a slat ceiling, and you don't really have it here. So I'm going to go ahead and create that custom type. I'm going to duplicate it, and I'm not really creating a structure. I'll just say wood grill ceiling. It's actually more of a wood slat ceiling. I'm going to come in here and make sure we're just going to actually change it to wood slat, and we're just create it with another wood and just use that texture we have from the texture club. Wood And we'll just go ahead with ceiling. And we're not really interested in this type. So we're going to duplicate this. I'll say what's slat ceiling. No, it's more like a plank. We'll go ahead and make sure to duplicate the asset. Click on this. And we're more interested in going to the support folder I've created versus the AutoCAD materials. We have this located. So wherever you're going to put it, make sure you regularly locate your files. I actually have a folder already open. Actually just going to come from my support folder. I'll just copy that location. So it could be in the same folder, it could be in your My Documents. Okay. And what I've done, just to make things simple, is I just created a folder just for materials, and when you download them, they're in a zip file. So I've just taken them out of the zip file. So I put these in, and I probably want this to be a lot larger because this is making these all to be 1 inch. I'd probably do closer to 4 feet for this. Then we'll take a look at it. And it has a glossy varnish. I'll show you how it looks. Click OK. I'm fine with how these are, but I would definitely want to make sure as I deal with the structure for the material. Now I'm looking at the plan, ceiling plan view, and that needs to for sure have a different look. So we see that it's a 4 inch parallel. Okay, that should be fine. So now we're going to see it in plan look unique. Okay, so it looks similar to the outside slat, but it's different. Okay. And the last thing we're going to add for that ceiling for sure is we're going to add that ceiling fan back in. Yeah, we'll just type in fan. Make sure to place it on the face. And we use a little construction line to get our center. CM will place your component again. And I want to make sure it plays on the face. So that's located, and we do need to, of course, come in here. That section box that'll help us make sure that it's flipped to the right face. Because sometimes the components, they go to the wrong face. And you can just come in here and maybe even just come in here and click on flip the work plane, and that will be fine. Okay, so now we have our fan. This is, we'll assume, a hot climate, and we want to now add our lighting. And our lighting, I'm going to load the family from that same support folder that I have. And what I've downloaded from Revit City is a parametric light, though there are several lighting sites with a good element. I'll put this in here. Now I'll give a little control thing as well. When you place these in there, make sure you're using the same layer structures. So as I click on this and I look at the edit type, because I want to make sure my light is going. Lumio is going to be, it's in Spanish, so that's one thing. If you look and you go into the family, you see a Lumio, the thing that essentially will emit the light, sort of a glow, is actually in the is what this is, a Lumio right here, and so it's calling that material Caja. So that's the light. I've included it so you can actually you won't have the challenge of trying to decode the language. But that's that's where we're currently at. And if you go to your properties for the family types, you can always just see here. So this is the material of the light. And to really change that, you just would come in here, click Edit Parameter, and you could just change that. So that might be a processing that you'll need to do when working with Revit City projects and families. Okay, so now I have the ability to set the light. I'm going to make sure that the light's going to be the similar type to these. And as you go down, you see the diffuser is actually what this is, high luminance. So I'm going to set that to be the material for the light here. And what I'm going to do here is also just make sure that it's going to come out to my edge, because I don't want them to intersect. I'm going to just do it from the inside to inside. And this is actually 15 feet. Come in here, and this one adjust by size, and I'm just gonna make it duplicate it, so this one will have a different one, and I'll just name it 15 feet. And I'll click OK. Just come down here and just make sure it says Largo, so that's the length. I'm just gonna put 15 feet. And the manufacturers do have good versions, so I just thought Revit City is a great place to start, just to quickly sketch it out. And of course, if you talk with clients, you can get a better one. Okay, so now we want to find out the longwise, and I'm going to mirror the light on this side, and I'm going to make sure I have the right length. And that's 9'5", 9'5". That's what we'll use. I'm going to duplicate this. Do that 9'5". So this is a custom dimension. Click OK. I'm going to align that. Mirror that. Okay, and so I had a little problem trying to mirror that. So I'm going to assume that that mirror line is not accurate right now. So I may need to change this up a little bit. 2'2", 3. So, for our purposes, maybe just have a little bit of a discrepancy. I'm gonna just go ahead and turn that lower ceiling back on, and you see everything is hidden underneath there. Just checking the center point of this. And so it's basically on center. We have that. So that's definitely something to be concerned about when you're drawing lines, or things in the proper center. Because they are aligning, you might want to come back here and make sure they're adjusted properly. For this sake, it's fine. And what I want to do is now we're going to look in the section box view, and we're going to come in to see that ceiling. You see it's just sort of just floating, and so we can actually do a little bit of detail on the ceiling where we put like a lighting here. As we're going to actually try a little cove. We're going to go back to the first floor RCP, and we're going to come into the boundary. We're going to offset it by 6 inches. And that's going to have room for the lighting fixture that will be placed in this cove. And that cove, you'll see how it's going to look. Essentially, it's going to be somewhere between here and here. And I'm going to create a little wall around the ceiling cove. And what we'll do is we're going to hide that layer. for the lower ceiling. And we're just going to make a wall, and I'm just going to do really basic. I'm going to have to paint it because we definitely want to make sure that it's coming out nice. And we're going to go from the finished face interior, and this wall is actually, we can even like set up how high it's going to be. It's going to go up from 9'7", so it's going to be above the ceiling. And so I'm going to put 9'7". It's going to go up 6 inches, about. It doesn't have to be super precise. And because it's above the ground, you're not going to see it really affecting too much. And even it's too high, it won't affect the room calculations below. And I see a little bit too high. The ceiling is pretty thin. Then I have this at 9'4". We actually want to go to 9'6". That'll be make sure not to delete it. 9'6" here. Right, and so now you'll see like the little pocket in the ceiling. I think we accidentally moved it. We have to make sure to avoid that sort of thing. Let's select those again, and 9'7" or 9'6.5, and set this to be our 9'6". So now we see that little cove. We're going to go ahead in our section box and look at what's going on. We see a little light in the cove, and all we really need to do is just paint the material up here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to come to my Manage, Materials, and set up my paint for my white. And really I'm going to use similar to this type. And you see that we don't have a lot of painting going on here, but I'm going to start with this because it's probably going to have the satin effect that I want, so I'll just duplicate that, and I'm going to rename that Paint White, and then I'm going to have a paint sort of off-white. I come in here and I'm going to make sure this is white. Come in here and we're going to duplicate this. And you see the type material is flat, matte, and spray, so that's proper to what we're wanting. So that's my paint white, and I'm going to duplicate to do a light gray as another accent. And that light gray is going to be duplicated, and I'll go ahead and just change the name. And I duplicate that and make sure that this actual one is white. So we actually labeled the previous one. So white and light gray. And of course also change here. This will just help your life by not having too much differentiation. I'll name this one to be white. And I'll go into light gray, and then I will actually come in, change this to be down just a little bit. Press OK. And so our painting will start by hitting our paint. We'll paint white. Right here. And sure make also to come around the lower section box so we can see that other side. And come in here and paint this white as well. Done. And so that's our first step. Just getting a little ceiling feature done, and we're going to paint our sidewall. Is going to be that similar white instead of the gypsum, and move this in a little bit. And we'll go back to our section box. And make sure to make this side white as well. Okay, so that's just getting started in our different accent. We're going to make a light gray, or actually even maybe even a little darker. In fact, the sienna it's a nice sort of selection for that. So that our ceiling now is having a little bit of abstraction and beauty and difference. To add the lights for this model, we see that I sort of made a generic light around the model, but I want probably a little more subtleties as we're sort of making the render and figuring that out. So what we're going to do is move some of our notes. We're going to come back and add a light that's going to be more of a can light. So right now we don't have any can lights in. So I'm going to load that from Revit's folder. So I have a link to the Revit folder on my desktop. It's just really, I'm just copying that in, US Imperial. And what I'm looking at for that is the lighting. And I just want to go to Architectural, Internal, and I'm just looking for a simple recessed can light. And I think let's find this recessed lamp round. Make sure that comes in well. So it's we have a couple different options: 4-inch or 3-inch trimless. Oh, wall wash are also really good. Let's click that. So I want to choose my wall wash for the middle to cover the to have that wall wash, we'll be looking at the I'm going to place it on the face, make sure it's the right location. And we'll just do a little center line, make sure that's there. And I'm going to copy this out, but I'll make sure the copy is going to be the regular 4-inch downlight. I'm going to mirror that. Take a look at it in the render to make sure that's coming out nicely. And we're going to go back to the ceiling plan and copy these on the other side. We come to our render and we see we have a nice set of things here.
This has been Brandon with I Am The Studio. Thanks for watching. If you got a lot out of this video, give the video a like and subscribe to the I Am Studio channel. See the description for the link to part 3 in the series where we'll be covering rendering this in Autodesk Cloud Render. If you need help with your Revit projects, see the links in the description for the complete Revit guide course and other Revit tutorials. Great way to improve your Revit skills to professional level. See you in the next tutorial.